Welcome, my name is Thomas and today I'm going to be talking about the groupby function. And it is an incredibly useful function in pandas. The reason for that is you can aggregate a lot of data in quick time and in very few lines of code. So let's jump right into it. I used the following data set. This is the wine data set from Kaggle. And you can I'll just post this link in the video description and you can download it from there. So let's download that. I've done that already. You're gonna need an account for this, but if you want to do more in data science, you probably don't have a real way around Kaggle anyway. So it's not too bad to make an account for Kaggle. So I've got it downloaded here. I used this file. I put it in the right folder, the folder where I'm gonna put my code in, my groupby.py data file in this case. So, and I've got it already here. So next, I'm gonna import it. Let's say import pandas as PD. Then let's call it df. df is going to be pd.import csv. I can't remember the name of it. Like this. And sorry, it's read CSV. So let's run this, and we're missing another CSV. So now it'll run. Now we can explore that if you're using Spider as well. Otherwise, you can use just print df.head. But that's, you can see that here. But that's nowhere near as comfortable as just looking at it this way. Okay, so we've got a couple of columns, and we could I could show you how to use the groupby function in the following way. If you wanted to know the average price of each variety, how would you go around it? There are a couple of other ways to do it, probably involving loops, but that is very slow in pandas. So we're going to use the groupby function. We can group that data frame by the variety and then use some aggregating function on it. And those aggregating functions are all optimized for pandas, so they're running relatively quickly. So what you're going to do is, like we said, we want to know the mean. I'm going to define a new variable called result. And let's put it away for now. And that's going to be df.groupby. What do we want to group by? Variety. And we want to know the mean of that. So this will work. Okay, we can explore the result here. So this is the result. You're going to notice that it's just 3 columns, even though we had a lot more. That is because there are only 3 numerical columns, and of course you cannot calculate the mean for example, the country or stuff like that. So this makes sense. If you don't want to calculate the mean for all of these columns, you can just put like price here, and you're going to calculate the mean of the price for every variety. Okay, and if we wanted to know the variety with the highest price, well, we could just print. We could print that whole list, and we could see what are the priciest. Not only the priciest, that's going to be on top. So we're going to say result dot sort values, and we'll see. Oh, we want it to be descending, so we're going to say ascending is false. I'm going to run that. Okay, now we've got the priciest wines. Would be interesting if that that somehow correlates with how good the wines are. So we're going to look into that. Not very statistically pleasing, but just a quick look. Okay, we need an additional argument by, because now it's not unique. Before we had just one column, we just had one series. Now we have to tell program on which column we want to sort that actually. So I'm just gonna sort it by price again, like we had it before. And we're going to see the Cabernet Shiraz is doing quite well. It's the priciest, and got 96 points then, and from on a scale from 0 to 100, that's quite good. And you can see it's also decreasing when the points are decreasing when the price is decreasing. So there seems to be a correlation. All right. So much for the mean. You can do one very handy thing, and that is we're going to call it result2 df.describe. Group by. I'm going to group by a variety again. Which one? Like we're going to. We want the column. Let's say price again. We lost that here. Okay. Then we're going to say describe. You could do the same without price here, but it would have a peculiar outcome. I'm going to show you that. It works too, but it might not be as easy to handle as what we're seeing now. Okay, now we have it here in result2. It's going to do that. It's going to do the describe function for every column. And it's a little bit messy here. You see, it's calculating the standard deviation, the minimum, the percentiles, and stuff for every column. So we've got a lot of new columns here. So let's not do that for now. Can be handy too, but not for explaining the describe function. Just wanted to show you that it's possible to do that too. So I'll look into that again. It looks a lot more tidy now, a lot tinier. We've got the maximum count, mean, standard deviation, minimum, stuff like that. That might be interesting for you. But we've got a lot more interesting stuff here going on. We could also do just if we want only the count, we can do the same, like result3 to say that group of variety price describe, we'll exchange it with count, and we'll just get the count of each. It doesn't make much sense because what it's going to do is going to group by variety, and for each variety it's going to count how often price occurs. So let's look into it. It has a price that often, but you could do it with every. I think price is pretty much indicative of how often that variety occurs, because they all have not all of them. Some of them have no price, as you can see here, but it's almost the same as how often each of these varieties occur in the data set. What would make more? We can think about something that would make more sense to count, like probably just the variety itself. Yeah. Okay. We can also do different operations than those. We have another function, and that is called ag or aggregate. Both work. We're going to group by variety again, because that works so well. And we're going to use the ag function or aggregate. Does the same thing basically. I mean, not basically, just really does the same thing. And we can hand it a list of some commands. We want, for example, the count, we want the mean, we want the max, and so on. I'm going to say for which column I want to aggregate like this. I'm going to aggregate by the points. Okay. Let's execute and see if everything goes all right. Let's see what we get. And we get the count, we get mean, we get max, everything we were asking for. All right. So the aggregate function is pretty neat. You can also use lambda functions on it. So in the next example, I'm going to show you a special task that I've struggled with in the past. And then I found this solution. This solution, it's not quick. It's quicker than everything that I had before. But you can do it quicker. And I'm going to show you that in the next video. But you need to know the multi-index for that, and I'm going to cover that in the next video. So the special task is we have two columns. We have one column where we have a special category. We're going to do that with variety. That's going to be our category. And then we have another column. It's going to be country here. And what I want is for each variety, I want the country that it comes from most often. So if we have for Cabernet Sauvignon, something like that, if we get 3 of them from the USA and 5 from France, we want France. We want to have France there. That's going to be our output for each row. Okay. So I did it like this. I said I first aggregated it into lists, and then I picked that mode out of that list. So I'm going to define a new variable, and I'm going to say df dot groupby variety dot egg, and I'm going to write my lambda function here. It basically groups, puts every it puts all of the countries into a list for each variety. And then the next step, we're going to pick the one that occurs the most out of that out of those lists. So our column, our result column, or let's call it result 5. It's going to be df list egg dot apply. Now, what do we want to apply on that? Another lambda function, and we want to pick the maximum, but the maximum would just give us back the maximum in some order, like in a list of 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 10. It's going to give us back 10. So we don't want that, and we're going to tell the function that we'll say key is x dot max. X.count, sorry, and we'll run that. Oh, we're getting an error. Okay, has no attribute levels. Let me look into that. I actually don't want that. I don't want to do this on the whole df list aggregation data frame. I only want that for one particular column, and that is the country. And as you see, the code runs a lot slower now. And that is because of those 2 lines. It is still linear in time complexity, but it seems to have a lot of overhead, and you can do it way better. And I'm going to show you that in the next video. I already said. Okay, so let's see. Let's check real quick if that really is the solution. No, we're going to go into df list aggregation, because there we already have all the lists. So country, well, it makes sense that there would be Greece, Italy, yeah, Greece, Spain. Okay, so that makes sense, but it's still like, what was that, like 15 seconds or so. We can do a lot better. So if you thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time.